Evening. The comments about 5 megs is interesting because one of the things I noticed using WinLink is that there are quite a number, i.e. I think about 7, WinLink stations in Norway, which according to the predictions are in good coverage for quite a lot of the day, particularly after 40 metres is closed. So I thought I'd have a look to see how many of those, if any, fell in our UK allocations. And in fact there is only one which just creeps into the bottom end of the channel that starts at 5333.0. But you can only run P2, Pactor 2, because Pactor 3 would go outside that bottom edge, but Pactor 2 would give you over 500 Hertz of leeway, so I might try that during the week sometime. Apart from that, back to you, Greg, from G4KUJ.
UJ, G4NRC returning. Okay, yes, I'd looked at those in the past and realised there was only one. Never had any great success in working it though. Would also suspect, I'm not sure where Norway is, but they could be in the globally harmonised, not much, 25 maximum watts power output part of the band rather than the more generous UK power allocations. So it's an interesting one, Trevor. Having that band flexibility, as conditions have been quite rough in some ways, does mean if we can have an intermediate band, it would be good to play with. But it's a very broken up space, and there is no chance of that changing anytime soon. Right, let's have Philip, Golf 4 Kilo India Lima, G4NRC, over.
G4NRC, G4KIL. Yes, good afternoon, everybody. Sorry I wasn't able to make it last week. I hoped I'd be able to, but it clashed with something else. A bit like my HF, I've been missing on that on the main nets because I mentioned it was clashing. Not sure what happened next month. I think the 1st is unlikely to work for me, unfortunately. The 7th is interesting because that will supposed to be Sunday, the 7th, 14th, 21st, 28th will be Sundays, and there'll be 2 o'clock. Possible. It's always a little bit difficult, but it's sort of possible. So see what happens on that one. Well, I have had a good time. Since I wasn't getting onto the main net, I've got my FT817 away from the registered address where I usually use it for main nets. Stuck it in the flat with the where I've got a 6-metre antenna just out the flat window, first floor flat window across to a tree with an ATU on the bottom of it, and just barefoot, as it were, on just the. I've been finding the ASA working really well, which is surprisingly encouraging. Let's put it that way. Even at 2.5 watts, using 2.5 watts because I decided to run it with my Raspberry Pi, with the JSA core software on it, and even the 5 watts was upsetting it. Only I used a plastic box. I have since stuck it inside a metal biscuit tin, not with any proper decoupling of the cables going in, mind you, but that has helped a little bit, and it'll just about tolerate 5 watts now. But no, I'm making last weekend made contacts. I mean, they are the random contacts, which whoever you happen to get that's on the right skip distance, of course. But to York and north of Prestwich, and then again this week. Where was it now? Rotherham, I think it was. So I've been quite pleased with that, with very low power, and it's starting to exchange a couple of messages with mailboxes as well on it, as it were. So that's quite encouraging. That's been my main radio. I won't keep it going for the moment because I know you're trying to get away, Greg. G4NRC, G4KIL.
For KIL, G4NRC returning. Yes, okay. Yeah, I'm having problems like you. In the main shack, I need to do something to screen off some of the more offended bits of equipment whenever I transmit on any reasonable power, usually keyboards and mice. but the whole station is to be taken apart for decorating no later than Tuesday night. So I will be off air from probably Monday night onwards, and may not be back on in time for the net on Friday, but we'll see what happens and what I can get away with. Likewise, I've got to go away on a bit of a business trip, which might mean I take the True SDX away for a bit of a play, but that's another one where I need to sit and just sort out what's going on with bits of gear not talking to each other. Should work in practice, well, in theory, just not always working out in practice out in the field, so I need to play with that. Right, we've got 2 to go on this round. Tristan, Mike Whiskey 3, Victor Juliet November, G4 and RC, over.
Yeah, no problem there, Greg. Just calling in to say good afternoon to everybody, and hope that everybody's okay. I don't have any further traffic from this side at the moment, and I hope that everybody is safe and well. I'll pull out now if you don't mind, Greg, and wish all on the RAYNET frequency, RAYNET net a very good afternoon. Be safe until next Sunday, and thanks for allowing me to join, and thanks for running the net, Greg. Back to you and Sam Fries.
Victor Juliet November, G4 NRC returning. Okay, Tristan, now got to call in, and like you say, it's for testing equipment, and nice to see that the hotspot and everything's still working the way it should do. No dropouts on the audio, everything was perfect, so 7 threes and see you next week. Colin, you get to round this out. 2 Echo 0, Charlie Mike Sierra, G4 NRC, over.
Yeah, from 2E0 CMS. Yeah, afternoon all. I was going to call in on the fusion side, but I don't appear to be working today. Oh, never mind. I'll have to give Guy an email and get him to give it a kick. Right, what was I going to talk about? Call signs. Yeah, I must admit, I've not bothered so far with the changing of my internet, intermediate call sign from 2E0 to M8 or 9 at the moment. I've got so many things set up with my call sign that I really can't be bothered at the moment. So that's that. What else was going to comment on? Starlink, yes. Yeah, it's always good to have more competition. I think it's going to be quite a while before the Amazon system is really going to be competing with Starlink. I must admit, I'm going to feel a bit sorry for all of the astronomers and things out there that are going to have so much clutter whizzing by in front of their telescopes. It's going to make sort of astrophotography and things like that difficult, but there you go. As far as the laser connections, I know some of the newer Starlink ones have got laser connections, which is actually quite good for resilience, because if the ground stations, say in the UK, weren't working, they could just bounce a signal along and it would arrive in France or somewhere else in sort of like Western Europe, maybe increase the latency slightly, but it would still have internet, which would be quite useful. So that's quite good if there's a major power outage that takes out ground stations as well, although I would assume that they'd be backed up by power, but you never know. Yeah, I don't think I've got any more to add, Greg, so if you want to bill me out on after this one, I'll let you get away. Thanks for running the net. G4NRC 2E0 CMS.
Two Echo 0, Charlie Mike Sierra, G4 and RC returning. Okay, right, we'll show you out on this one. I did have a slightly different headline item, but then I realised it was too difficult to try and make work, especially when this gets reprinted on a Friday. But I had read a different article this week about how Starlink's defence mode against solar storms, which has been a big feature of the last few days, means that they go up somehow into a slightly higher altitude, which then increases latency, and it takes 2 or 3 days for them to recognise that the storm has gone away and descend back to their normal levels again. So these systems are getting very autonomous. Just hope they can keep moving out of each other's way in time. One of the other things about bouncing to a different ground station connection reminds me, unfortunately, of 7/7 London bombings, where one of the defence measures to stop the telephone system collapsing was to block international calls coming in. So not sure for some of these systems whether that's still the case, that if we want to protect the UK networks, we actually cut overseas links, which would mean even if you did come down in a different country, you couldn't get back to UK for doing anything. But that's something to check with the bigger boys and girls one day, or do some more research on. Anyway, 7 threes to you. We have got just 4 on the second round, and Graham has beaten the YouTube link into submission by doing a reboot, so we'd have been possibly being rejoined by some streamers, which I'm just checking for, and I'll confirm on the next over. Golf 8 Echo Yankee, anything final from you, Mike? Correction, is there something from you? Any feedback on that health and welfare query? Just a yes or no. G8EY, G4NRC, over.
G4NRC from G8EY, that's a no. Not got any more information as yet, but still looking. And the only thing I would say is, having met this in so many times in my working life, somebody will have thought about that. Don't assume anything. They almost certainly probably won't have thought of it. From G8EY, and thanks for running the net, Greg.
8 Echo Yankee, G4NRC returning. Okay, right, thanks for that. I just had a couple of odd emails from the inquirers across in Texas. So, I can hear myself coming back on Graham's audio feed now. So, just aware of that. Just thought we'd do a quick check on that one since they asked. Just turn my own return audio down then. So it was easy to ask on this one. And yes, never assume. It could be a mantra for everything. If you turn it into Latin, I'm sure we could have that as a motto for RAYNET. Right, thanks Mike. See you next week. Stephen, Mike 7 Victor Sierra Delta, G4NRC, over.
Yeah, G4NRC, this is Mike 7 Victor Sierra Delta. Yeah, I've got a contact in that part of the world with regards to air cadets and radio. I suppose they'd fall under number 2 Welsh Wing. I do know their radio comms officer, and do keep in touch with him. He's also a licensed amateur, formerly MW0 TTK. He's now taken out a G5 call sign, so he's updated his license, taken a G5, and he also holds one of the air cadet call signs as well. He's updated that. We've now got a G5 ATC, which is a club call for the air cadets. He holds that. And in other updates, in the little sort of hiatus and break that I've had off the net, I've purchased myself a Yaesu FT2D. So now equipped for Fusion and APRS. So I've been playing around with that quite a lot. And still playing around with it now, discovering all the features, over.
Victor Sierra Delta, G4NRC, this time joined by the Brandmeister bridge. Okay, yes, that was the memory jogger I needed about Fusion. The guy was at one point going to write his own Fusion gateway software because of the unreliability of what we've got as the official one on the server. So yes, it does feel like the Fusion link needs a kick more often than not to make it work. So yeah, okay with that one. In terms of purchases, Black Friday got me, but it's not got me in a very good way. People might have seen a little clip-on radio module to go on the back of Android phones to make a 1 watt output 2 meter set. That was a Black Friday deal. I had my name on it, so I got it yesterday. Oh, it's arrived today, this afternoon. Unfortunately, first tests for the El Cheapo Amazon version don't look very good. It's struggling to communicate, so yes, it's like two unboxings though, isn't it? We've got the Black Friday toy sale, and then we get the Christmas present toy sale. Thanks for those call signs. I will look some of them up and give my now flying officer, is he, a little nudge as well, and I'll see him tomorrow morning, just to let him know that we are wanting to know when they'll join in a little bit better. Okay, 732 Stephen and Trevor, G4KUJ, G4NRC, over.
G4NRC, G4KUJ. Nothing really of substance from me. Noted, Philip, your success on JS8 call. That's jolly good. And I've not been on JS8 call much during the week. I did have a go on 20 metres for a couple of days and got quite a few contacts there as the conditions were improving. And regarding your decorating, Greg, I assume that means I'm in the chair for traffic with, or potentially with traffic from DV0 NTS this coming week. Apart from that, thanks for running with it, and we'll be in touch. G4NRC, G4KUJ.
G4KUJ, G4NRC, returning. Right in reverse order, it is a little bit of a yes please. I've got a trip away this week and next week, which I haven't booked anything for yet, which will make me a bit difficult on some other evenings anyway, but taking the whole station apart so we can actually move the radio cupboard away from the wall for decorating is a fairly quick operation to break it to bits, but I want to take a bit more time reassembling it to see if I can untangle some of the wires and get rid of some of the RF feedback that seems to get into keyboards and things. So yes, Trevor, I will let you know when I do finally break stuff up. I am hoping to get one last set of contacts out tomorrow though, and then we can at least finish with a clean slate from me before it gets taken apart. Okay, I will save the JS8 stuff for the week, and we finish with Philip, G4KIL, G4NRC, over.
Yeah, from G4KIL, yeah, not much to add. Thanks for the comment, Trev, there. I do see a call sign come up on JS8 now and again. I think generally with the lower power, I'm not getting through to you. I mean, what's really interesting, I think, about my experiences in the last couple of weeks is it is very clearly the stations that are out in the sticks, well away from built-up areas, that are picking me out when I'm using this lower power. So that seems to be far more relevant than how close they are or anything like that. So that's. I suppose that does mean if there was a national power cut, we'd all be able to communicate a lot better on HF. There was that. The other thing is it encouraged more to try and get some sort of remote control set up for the. I mean, one of the reasons I was experimenting with the Raspberry Pi with the JS8 is the thought that I'd be able to leave it with the FT817 in the where I've got the better antenna and remotely control it, but more to look at on that at the moment. All right, I won't keep it. 373s, hopefully be up next week. G4 NRC, G4 KIL.
G4 KIL, G4 NRC returning. Yes, well, there's one of the American YouTubers pretty much uses JS8 call as his main data mode, because it does have the varying speeds now, and all the other advantages it can have for low power operation, but he is very much out in the sticks, and you're quite right, it's the limiting factor isn't the power levels we're putting out, is the way the noise floor has increased, which means I should say, because I can't remember what it got put in, but fibre to the premises here does seem to have dropped my noise level on some bands by about 10 dB, which is a good start. There's still quite a bit of a signature though in my WebSDR that looks like VDSL uplinks and downlinks being heard across the village, so it feels like I'm still waiting for whatever it is, 18 months or whatever, before all the noise generators are turned off and at least we get rid of VDSL as one of the HF curses. Okay, thanks everybody for coming on this afternoon and for letting me get away possibly an extra 6 minutes earlier than planned. So I will bring the net to a close, and thanks everybody for taking time out to participate today. Echoing Tristan, be careful, have a good week, because there is another cold snap coming, and until next Sunday afternoon at 1600 hours local time, I'll close the RAYNET-UK weekly activity net on talk groups 23531, Pheonix and Brandmeister, and 50231 on the RAYNET-UK server, and return those talk groups to being an open net rather than a directed net. 730 all, this is G4NRC now closing and reverting to my normal call sign of Golf Zero, Delta Uniform Bravo. Bye bye.